everyone and welcome back guys to episode 67 of my F1 2016 Toro Rosso career mode guys, here today for the Malaysian Grand Prix of season 4 of this championship guys. And obviously if you are new around here, do not forget to like and subscribe. But moving on into this race, as you can see we have a 57 point lead over Kimi Räikkönen at the top of the standings guys. So obviously it's just crucial now that we don't make any big mistakes really to the end of the season now, as obviously we're looking in a very strong position, like we should be able to take home the title guys. But if you did miss last episode, I would highly recommend going back and checking out that video as well guys. You know, it was a pretty crazy race and I won't try to spoil too much about it right now, but obviously you know where you can find that video guys. But the Malaysian Grand Prix, a track that I don't particularly enjoy racing at. You sort of get out of Italy and Italy and Spa, and sort of between then and the end of the season, the only track I really enjoy is Brazil. So, you know, we kind of get onto, you know, a little bit of grindy bit of the season, guys. You can see we've got two new parts on the car ready for this Grand Prix, and I'm currently tying with my rival Nico Rosberg in my driver rivalry, if I can actually do words very well. But you can just see moving on then into free practice, and obviously going straight away onto my track acclimatization lap and coming out of the final corner there. It's been a fairly solid lap up to this point, quite a few greens there, which means we're only going to get the green score in the end there. We narrowly miss out on the purple score there, but not too worried about missing out on those extra 20 R&D points. So now moving on to my qualifying simulation, running down at the final corner there once again, and it's going to absolutely smash the green score there, and we are going to go purple with a predicted position of first place there. You know, no real big surprises coming out of free practice, obviously bagging all the R&D points we do need there. I could have probably gone on and got the extra 20, but with the way the car development's looking at this moment in time guys, you know, not really too much to worry about. As you can see, they're getting all the R&D, they're going to be around about 130 points we do score from that, and up to 132 overall after we spent all our points at the end of last episode guys. You can see again, absolutely no bonuses there from doing the other sessions as well. But now as you can see, let's move on then into qualifying 1. And qualifying 1, you know, usually now unless something happens I just skip over it, and nothing did happen in the end of that session. I made a couple of little mistakes on my lap, as you can see there. My teammate Danny Kvyat went to provisional pole in that first session there. You know, Kvyat still, he's getting to the point now where he's sort of like in the top 5, but I'm still trying to wrap up the Constructors title this season, so really need him to have a good few last race. Obviously the Constructors standings is incredibly tight. I think we're 10 points ahead of Mercedes moving into this race there guys, so obviously incredibly close still in the Constructor standings. Then, as I said, Q1, you know, no real big surprise there. I think we saw the Williams of Felipe Massa go out, as well as both Renaults, both Manas there, and the Sauber of Felipe Nasr there. So no real surprises. And now moving on to Q2, though I do go on a set of mediums for my run, but I do go actually up to P1 there, sorry. Managed to get into the 34s there on a set of medium tyres, so very happy with that lap. I absolutely pushed the car to the limit there on that lap. You know, just see where I could finish at the end there, and I'm going to retire from quali straight away there, because you know that lap should be good enough for Q3, and yes it is, P2 there in Q2 for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Now I'm going to look then, and my teammate once again there, Danny Kvyat, managing to take provisional pole once again. They're just 2 thousandths ahead of me though, even though obviously I was on the slower tyres there, so you know, very happy with that in the end of Q2 there. The other drivers that got through into Q3 were both Ferraris, and I think it was Lewis Hamilton right down at the very bottom there of the top 10 there. But coming to the end of Q3 there, and straight away we go purple once again there with a very strong lap. I think that was into the 133s, so very happy with that there. As you can see, we got pole by half a second over Max Verstappen there, so you know, very easy at this moment of time. Qualifying, you know, is usually, unless something really bad happens, it's usually quite smooth running for myself now in this season there. But we took pole position ahead of both the Red Bull cars there, so very happy with that, as well as Sebastian Vettel up in P4 there. My teammate Danny Kvyat, after going provisional pole in both Q1 and Q2 there, unfortunately did not have the pace to deliver in the final qualifying session there, but he still out-qualified Kimi Räikkönen, Nico Rosberg, Jenson Button there in a very good 8th place there, ahead of Lewis Hamilton there, one of my big championship rivals still. But Mercedes, their pace is really starting to drop in this career mode guys. You can see I'm going to look at the end of qualifying there, though we are going to bring home another 90 R&D points there, taking me up to 240 there. So, you know, very happy with that. You know, I'd like to think, you know, we could sort of get up to close to the 400 mark by the end of this Grand Prix weekend, because obviously we do want to try and max out the car, ideally before the end of this season, guys. But, you know, we'll have to wait and see what happens with that. And I'm going to look at the career rivalry, though. Obviously, we're now absolutely smashing Nico Rosberg there in the standings there. So, very happy with that. And we're obviously back up to level 10 of the driver position score there, obviously as the first driver as well. You know, we need to be obviously performing very, very well. And obviously, especially against Danny Capure at this moment of time, it's quite easy for myself in this career mode, guys. But let's move on then into the Malaysian Grand Prix. So here we are then, guys, ready for the Malaysian Grand Prix. Going to be a very, very exciting race, I'm hoping. You know, obviously, after a couple of fairly shaky performances last time out, you know, we really need to get the consistency in and get back up to the race-winning form that we have seen fairly often in this career mode, guys. Unfortunately, you know, we've actually been quite unlucky when it comes to race wins, and the consistency from myself has really been what's put me in this position. I think overall we've won 4 Grand Prix this season in 15 races there, so we definitely haven't exactly dominated this career mode so far. It's so consistent when it comes to podiums and just good point scoring positions there, especially when it comes to the rest of the field, guys. And you know, with 6 drivers still fighting over sort of like P2, P3 in the standings, you know, it's really just let me able to pull away a little bit in this career mode, guys. But it's going to be a 2-stop Grand Prix here, moving from a set of the softs there. I don't know why we're on softs. We use the mediums in qualifying there. No idea what the team are thinking there. I don't know whether there's been some rule changes about that, but that's very annoying. The fact that, you know, we went into Q3 on... Sorry, we got into Q3, sorry, yeah, on a set of the medium tyres there. So I don't know why they've left me on a set of these soft tyres for the start of this Grand Prix. I'll definitely be complaining to Charlie Whiting after the Grand Prix about that there, unless Toro Rosso have made the mistake themselves. But as I said, should be a fairly textbook 2-stop Grand Prix. Moving on to a double set of the hard tyres to hopefully take us through the rest of the race, guys. But here we are then, on the grid, ready for the Malaysian Grand Prix. It's 4 lights, it's 5 lights for the Grand Prix. And it's finally lights out, and away we go for this Grand Prix. Max Verstappen there getting off to an absolutely appalling start. Sebastian Vettel getting off to a very, very good start, as well as myself, down towards turn 1 there. Obviously, it's going to be very, very clean for myself into the braking zone there. Just going to try and work on make sure we hit both the apexes very nice there. Make sure, you know, we get a bit comfortable with the car, obviously, on this race load of fuel there. Running a little bit wide through turn 2 there, but hopefully, you know, that shouldn't cost me much time there. Sebastian Vettel moves all the way over to P2 there. My teammate Danny Capure there momentarily was up in P3, so the Red Bulls both getting off to absolutely terrible starts there. Really not able to get the launch hooked down for those guys, but we've managed to hold on to the lead of the Grand Prix there through Sector 1, and that should be fairly easy for myself now. You see, coming to the end of lap 1 here, we're running a little bit wide into that horrible double right-hand apex corner there. As you can see, running wide, fully over the curbs there, and that's meant that Sebastian Vettel should be able to get a very, very good run down this long back straight here into the final corner here. You know, hopefully he won't go for a move. He's very, very far back, but into the braking zone, we run wide once again there. Not exactly what I wanted. That opens the door for Sebastian there. He's going to try and hold it side by side with me. I just get the wheel caught over the curb there. We go very, very defensive down towards the line there. We're actually tied over the finish line there, but we should have the inside and the braking down into turn 1 there. But we go down into the braking zone and run massively wide there through the corner there. Even get the wheel in the gravel there. So we're going to lose a handful of positions there. I nearly make contact. I do make contact with, I think that was Lewis Hamilton there. So we now move down into P7 there. P8 is Jenson Button now as I look round my outside there, which turns to the inside for the next corner here. But we're going to go for the undercut move, and we should be able to get back up into P7 there, but not exactly what I wanted on the second of the lap of this Grand Prix here. We're going to have to try and fight my way back through the field in this Grand Prix here. And next up on my hit list will be Kimi Räikkönen here, but, you know, not really too sure what happened there down towards turn 1. I think I actually had the throttle pedal slightly engaged, which just meant I couldn't get the turn in done very well there. But right on Kimi Räikkönen's gearbox, he gets caught over the curve there at the second to last corner here. Are we going to be able to look around his outside down into the final corner here? We do back out there as my teammate Capure there was having to go defensive from Lewis Hamilton there. So we're going to try and go for a bit of a switchback move here on Kimi Räikkönen here, but he'll have the slipstream as well. Lewis Hamilton and Danny Capure being very, very feisty with each other here. We're going to go 4 wide down towards turn 1 here. We're going to be able to make it 3 positions there into the braking zone. Very, very happy with that move, but 4 wide down towards turn 1 there. You know, very, very exciting scenes as Lewis Hamilton tries to go for a bit of an undercut move on myself there, but we do now move back up into P4 of this Grand Prix. And next up on my hit list will be Daniel Ricciardo here. As you can see on the end of lap 3, we're closed in on Ricciardo absolutely massively at this moment of time here. As you can see, he runs a little bit wide over the curbs there out of the second last corner there. And with the DRS, we're going to get a very, very good run. He tries to go a bit defensive on me there, so we move to the outside there with the slipstream, with the extra power. We go right around his outside down into the final corner there. Very, very happy with that move, and back up into the podium positions we go once again in this Grand Prix. And next up once again will be Sebastian Vettel, who I will next be trying to catch up with. We do go purple there as well, So just proving that we have got good pace. And down towards turn 1, we look down the inside of Sebastian Vettel there. Think better of it at the end of the apex braking zone there. And hopefully down towards turn 2 and turn 3. Going to try and go for a bit of an undercut on Sebastian there. But it hasn't really looked like it's paid off here. But obviously with the OP-ness of the slipstream on this game, guys, we are going to get right on Sebastian's gearbox there. Down the inside into turn 4 there. It should be a fairly textbook move. He tries to turn in on me there. Just a little bit there. We're going to go side by side at the corner there. And he's going to come completely across me there. And I can't save the back end as I run wide over onto the asphalt off the side of the circuit there. And we move back down once again into P7 there. So once again, I'm going to have to try and fight my way back through the field there. But Sebastian Vettel going very, very aggressively on me there. So 2 instances, you know, we've lost positions after fighting with Sebastian Vettel here. And we're going to instantly have to try and make up the positions once again. Then we think about going for a move on Jensen Button there into the long hairpin there at the end of Sector 2 there. We're not going to go for it. We're going to hold suit right behind him here until the end of this lap here. And with the slipstream, with the DRS once again here, even though he's got the DRS and slipstream behind Lewis Hamilton there, we are going to have a look around the outside. We get on the grass trying to get past Lewis Hamilton there. And once again, we're 3 wide here. We're going to try and go for a bit of an undercut on the pair of them there. Lewis Hamilton tries to go for the undercut on Jensen Button there. So everyone's trying to undercut everyone else in this Grand Prix at this moment in time. But we get past Hamilton, and then we're going to have a look around the outside of Jensen Button here, down towards turn 1, back up into P4. We go once again in this Malaysian Grand Prix. As we run wide there, Jensen Button tries to stick the nose in there. We're going to be able to hold it down the inside into turn 2 there. We should be able to squeeze him out on the exit of the corner there. He tries to hold it down the inside once again there through turn 3 and turn 4. But fortunately for me, we are going to be able to have the power over him, obviously, with that Honda power unit. We are going to move now back up into P4 of this Grand Prix, guys. And by lap 6, we moved up back up into P2 with everyone else trying to make their pit stops here. Obviously, we're going to come in at the end of lap 6 here for my first pit stop of the day. And unfortunately, we've got the limiter glitch there coming down into the pit lane here. And look how much time Kimi Raikkonen is able to make up from that. That's going to cost us, I'm pretty certain, about 2-3 seconds worth of time there. See, Raikkonen comes into his pit box there, and he basically gets out right behind me there when we should have been right on his gearbox once we'd made our pit stop there. But coming to the pit lane though is going to be a 2.4 second pit stop there. We do get held behind Jensen Button ever so slightly. We can just see how much time Raikkonen has been able to make up from that, guys. And unfortunately, you can just see down towards turn 1, he's able to get ahead of both the Mana cars and his teammate Sebastian Vettel there. And we're stuck behind all 4 drivers there, so not exactly what I wanted in this Grand Prix here. We're going to try and make moves on Sebastian Vettel as quickly as we can here. Once again, trying to line up a move on him around this S section of turn 5 and turn 6. We're going to look right round his outside there and move back up into P15 now of the Grand Prix there. Very, very good move, if I do say so myself. And now we're going to try and look down the inside of Harry Anton there. He just closes the door. I just get caught on his rear wheel there. I do force him wide, sadly, for him. But, you know, I'm not going to bother waiting up for him. As you know, he could have probably left the door open a little bit more there. But now moving on, as you can see, to the end of lap 8 here. We've got an absolutely huge train of both Red Bulls, both Renaults, and Kimi Raikkonen. And we're going to get a very, very good run out of the second to last corner there. You know, we're going to look round the outside of Raikkonen here. But another train, just like we saw at Singapore last time out with the Renault cars. And coming down into the final corner there, we're going to try and go for an undercut on as many cars as we can. We go past Raikkonen, we go past the god that is Jolyon Palmer there. And we're going to now try and slipstream Kevin Magnussen down towards the one here with the toe. We look to the outside, we switch back to the inside there. We make 3 positions up on that one straight there. And next up on my hit list will be both the Red Bull cars. You can just see they are actually both on a set of these soft tyres here. So, you know, they've not been able to make this tyre strategy work so far in this stint here. And hopefully, you know, if I can stick with these guys, I could be able to jump them on a slower set of tyres in this Malaysian Grand Prix. You know, we'll have to stick close behind them and just see how well it goes. You can see, though, by the end of lap 16 there, we do actually go purple on that lap. So very, very happy with that. You know, we're 12 laps into this stint, and, you know, we're still setting the fastest laps here. You know, the tyres really doing quite well at this moment in time during the Grand Prix there. As you can see, we're coming to the end of lap 17 now. We're actually going to change up the strategy a bit here. We're going to come in and go onto a set of these soft tyres once again here. As you can see, unfortunately, the video actually just jumping around just a little bit here. But we're going to move on to a set of these soft tyres here. Go for a double soft stint to the end of the Grand Prix. And I can only apologise for the video slightly corrupting at this moment in time. I think it does clear up right at the very end of the Grand Prix. I desperately need to sort out my Elgato settings, so it stops doing this, guys. But coming in, we set a 3-second pit stop there. Not exactly a great pit stop from myself, and hopefully, you know, we'll be able to stay ahead of Kimi Raikkonen here down towards turn 1. But unfortunately for me, he's going to be able to go right round, sorry, Nico Hulkenberg and Kimi Raikkonen, I think, are going to be able to go right around the outside. But by the end of lap 22 here, we're going to come in for my final pit stop of the day here, and I think this is going to be where it really matters here. Sebastian Vettel was about 10 seconds behind me, and coming out of the pit lane here, he's miles up the road, but Kimi Raikkonen down towards turn 1, he does get back past me once again there, and on the set of the soft tyres, we should have the pace over him there. But you might have heard Jeff just say that we are on the scrub tyres at this moment in time, which is not exactly what I wanted. I thought we had one more fresh set, so unfortunately there we are going to have to go on a one set of tyres here, but we should be able to get back past Kimi Raikkonen very quickly in this stint. We're going to dive bomb him down the inside into turn 4 there, and we move back up into P2 of the Grand Prix there, and unfortunately for me, it's just going to be trying to close in on Sebastian Vettel there, and by the end of the Grand Prix, unfortunately, the tyre wear just really kicked in right when it mattered most, and unfortunately, you see the tyres 80% wear there, but Sebastian Vettel takes home a very well-earned win in this Malaysian Grand Prix. We're going to be able to come home P2 after so many incidents there. I don't think we can really complain about that result.
Yes, that's a podium. Excellent drive. The team have worked especially hard this weekend, and this is a fantastic reward.
So, another excellent win from Ferrari. And I have to wonder, Anthony Davidson, just what set them apart from the competition here.
The difference was clearly in the strategy. You could tell they'd done a lot of work on the pit wall to really optimise each stint and get most out of the tyres. And it highlights just how much of a team sport this really is. And with credit to the driver as well, though, there's no good having a well-oiled machine behind the talented hand on the wheel, of course.
And as we can see, it's time for the podium, and as the drivers make their way out, there's a familiar red suit making its way to the top step. Fantastic win for Ferrari.
So there we are then, guys, the end to another Grand Prix in this career mode there. I'm very, very happy to once again take home 18 points in the driver's standings there. We did pull out a lot of points over our main rivals there. Kimi Raikkonen, I think he actually ended up retiring at the very end of the Grand Prix. I had to make another pit stop there because he isn't even inside the top 12 there. So very, very surprised from him. But Sebastian Vettel takes the race win ahead of myself there. And Mercedes, unfortunately, took home 27 points there. Over one more over myself and Danny Kvyat there, as he was down in P6 there. But Sergio Perez having a very, very good showing there, miles ahead of his teammate Nico Hülkenberg there, with Fernando Alonso down in P8 there. The Red Bulls, though, both missing out on the points there, as well as Kimi Raikkonen there right at the very end there. So we've got neither Red Bull or Kimi Raikkonen, 3 of my 5 main championship rivals at this moment in time, once again not able to get any good luck in these Grand Prix, and that's another thing that's really been able to keep me in it at this moment in time over the course of this career mode, guys. But Felipe Nasr there, the only retirement in the end of that Grand Prix, and we once again extend my championship lead at the top to, I think, 67 points now over Nico Rosberg there, who's moved back a bit to P2 of the standings ahead of Lewis Hamilton there. Kimi Raikkonen has moved back down into P4 there. Daniel Ricciardo holds on to P5 with Sebastian Vettel able to jump Max Verstappen there. My teammate Danny Kvyat there getting over 100 points there in the end. As you can see now, the gap at the top of the constructors standings down to just 9 points overall there. So very, very close, guys. But hopefully, you have subscribed if you're new around here, guys. And I will hopefully see you next time.
So promise that you'll catch me.